Hello. I figured I would debug some compiler bugs before the stream today, which is a little bit before the demo stream, which is a little bit precarious because, like, if you're about to demo a compiler, why are you changing it? That's just how we do things. So, the most obvious bug that we were seeing all the time was this thing where, I don't know, let me go to one of the files we've been working on. You know, if I made some undeclared identifier, we get multiple errors, most of which had nothing to do. So first of all, I'm getting this undeclared identifier foo twice, which I think I know why that's happening. But then we're also getting stuff that, we're getting this stuck in queue patch, which has nothing to do with anything. And these bucket array things, which I don't know why we're always getting those. I don't know why this is an undeclared identifier, right? Like, that's in. And for the past few streams, I've just been powering through, even though these errors happen. But it's like, come on, we need to have good error messages. So now I'm not sure why it thinks this is even an undeclared identifier, because this should resolve to that immediately. Like, it shouldn't even be a question. So I'm going to investigate why that's even happening, first of all. Oh, there's the email from yesterday. Now, who knows? It's always possible that these problems are harder. There's reasons why these would be more difficult to debug than you might think. So I'm just going to try and do it, and we'll see what happens. I may make no progress during this stream. Do I have any recommendations for resources for RSI prevention? No, I mean, everybody has slightly different issues, right? Whenever I have a problem like that, it's normally because the keyboard is at the wrong height, or my hands are on it in the wrong way, or whatever. But I have relatively big hands, which might also mean that I have less tendon stress because joints are bigger or something. So I would not try to extrapolate my situation on anybody else. It's just to say that I don't particularly have problems with that kind of thing unless I'm working in a really weird environment in the first place. Look how long it even just takes to start up Visual Studio and load my project. I could have compiled Sokoban like 10 times in this amount of time, at least. All right. Yeah, okay, that's what we want. And we'll search for undeclared identifier. Undeclared ident, because we're matching case. Well, let's just see. Why are we getting this? Its resolved declaration is not anything. Why? How did we get here? Unresolved non-placeholders. So it's... Why can I not click on things, all of it? What is going on? Oh, it's grayed out for some reason. Like, even though it knows what it is, it's grayed out. You better not click on it. Visual Studio, you're so bad. Okay. Okay. This is an instantiated version of that struct because it came from a polymorph copy. It's flattened within this thing and index 1. And this guy's infer cursor is on 1 out of 4. So this guy is stuck on that identifier for some reason. Probably because it's not resolved yet. I'm not sure why it. If debug infer types ident flattened within. So that's going to allow me to see what happens well, it's in all right, fine. Things change, and I don't do the right things. Yeah, the demo is later. This is not the demo. This is me investigating a bug. So now I'm looking into what happened. Oh, wait, what? What just happened there? Because we already reported an error, it's failing out. So we have to say reported error equals false, whatever. We'll just do that. Whatever, man. Got to set debug to true. Okay, we've got an expression. We're trying to infer this expression. It's an identifier. It has no resolved declaration yet. Why did I accidentally set a breakpoint? I don't want that. I don't think it's in this scope, because that's the scope of the struct. So we go into the parent, which is the arguments block of this, the returns block of the procedure. Okay, right, I was thinking of a different thing. So we've got to go from here to the parents block, which is the constants block. Wait, what? I'm really confused. how is the scope of this inside a procedure? What is going on? Somebody copied the What? Okay, that seems bad. Seems very bad. So what's happening is, wherever this is being instantiated, it's somehow kind of getting lexical scope accidentally. Oh God, that's bad. I mean, dynamic scope, kind of. Like, so what should happen? This identifier should be in the scope of this procedure, which it is. And then the parent of that scope should be the arguments block of the procedure, which it currently isn't. The parent scope is set to some procedures returns block, which means for one of these, we're instantiating a struct and it's so we're instantiating a struct in the wrong place. We're setting its parent up wrong. It doesn't matter because it's a polymorphic struct, I think. So I mean, it's a bug, don't get me wrong, but there's two bugs. Because we shouldn't be wasting, well, maybe it's not. Let me investigate. So this enclosing scope, it belongs to a struct. That struct scope's parent should not be, oh, unless it doesn't, oh, it has no arguments block. This isn't. Line 94. Why is that even here? I don't know. So we're somehow constructing this guy. The problem isn't that his parent scope is a procedure scope necessarily. Although I need to think about that because it seems very iffy. But the real problem is that the scope that is supposed to contain these declarations is not there at all. I don't know why. And because it's not there, this is not finding anywhere to bind to. And then, it's not, because it's not resolving, we're getting an error message for it. But if we don't get an error message from the rest of our program, then somehow it gets thrown out. Why does it get thrown out? Or it gets resolved in some way, which is weird. Maybe the scope changes later. This is a weird bug. This is a weird bug. So the struct flags are 16, and what does that mean? Is incomplete specialization. So don't we have helper functions like inside, polymorphic, struct? We don't. Oh, is polymorphic struct. I just call struct is polymorphic, all right. I feel like incomplete specialization should count as polymorphic. This is a complicated issue. I mean, it's... Well, guys, I don't know what to do. My microphone, let me see if my recording volume in Windows is set to lower somehow. How do I don't want the playback devices, I want the recording devices. Microphone, oh, it's using the web, no, it's using the Samson Meteor. Why is it so low? Well, why don't I have a volume slider for this thing? Levels. Okay, well, it was at 81, now it's at 100. Wow, and that made a big difference in the graph. I don't know. Hopefully that helps. All right. That extra 20 from 81 to 100. All right. It doesn't help me debug this thing, though. Where do I set is incomplete specialization? Oh boy, a lot of people look at this flag. Oh no, it's different. Okay. So this is one of those things where if I do another polymorphism cleanup, I may just get rid of this flag, because this flag is relatively old, and I'm not sure that it means very much. But I don't want to rip it up 3 hours before a demo, because that is a bad thing to do if you want to have a successful demo. Well, I'm just going to take a different tack. Instead of investigating the flag, I'm going to look at when this guy gets created, where does his arguments go? And why don't they get created as well? So belongs to struct. So when this gets created, so we're going to look at that. How many lines of code? Yeah, it's around that many. 38891 right now. Data breakpoint. Data breakpoint. Why on every copy of Steam do I have to get it to stop doing this garbage? Settings, friends, no notification. Popping up this stupid "your friend is playing a game" thing in the corner every single time somebody anywhere in the world launches a game. If you want to like get work done and focus and concentrate, you don't want things like that. I think this computer is slower at data breakpoints than my laptop is for some reason. I wonder if I need to set an environment variable of some kind. I don't know what's going on. It's taking a long time. Screw it. I'm going to do this. Where was it? Where's my breakpoint? So I think we'll have the type set. So we'll say if as type is equal to as struct data breakpoints, data breakpoints. Okay, that was much faster. All right. So this struct is getting created in a copy operation, which I knew. All right, so we make a struct. Make struct is a very standard routine to call. So here I just straight up don't copy the arguments block. Why? That's so weird. Oh, it's probably because okay. So normally the only time that a struct would get copied is when you explicitly polymorph it. And when you're explicitly polymorphing it, you're changing the arguments block. So you don't want to like put stuff there and then have to rip it out and change it, because that's slower and messier than not putting it there. The question is, why are we copying a struct not within that context? And the answer is because it's an incomplete specialization that is an argument of, or in a block. So what's actually happening is I'm copying the polymorphic procedure. Yeah, so I'm copying a procedure here. Wait, no, that's a type instantiation. That's a declaration. Okay, here we're copying a procedure. And it is which one? 9100. Iterator make, which is going to go away eventually. So we're copying this, which means we copy its arguments and return declarations, which means we copy the type instantiation, which means we copy this type instantiation. But what I don't understand is why we're copying a struct. It doesn't seem right. Because this is a, you know, a type of, this is a type instantiation that dereferences this. So why, somebody must be copying something that they should not. Oh, this reminds me of something that I should demo. So we're copying the returns block, right? So that's got a declaration in it, no surprise. That declaration is this one. It's a declaration, it just has an anonymous thing. And the type instantiation is bucket array iterator. So I should be able to look at this. So source type inst is bucket array iterator, and then it's got some arguments. And one of those arguments is the type of, so that's getting copied. Well, yeah. So here, okay, we're copying the inst, which I guess is, yeah, here. And that inst is the type of, well, what is it? It's called source. Oh no. Okay, that's source is the outer thing still. So the argument list is going to be it, and that's the type of, so we're copying that. This all makes sense so far. Uh-oh. Now, all right. So we're copying the type of expression value. Visual Studio is really annoying because it shows, it says we're on this line, but I think we're really on this line because that's just how it works. So it's, so yes, so it's type of expression. Why are we copying the output expression? No, it is on this line. Why? We don't want to copy the output expression. That makes no sense. So output expression is supposed to be set when this gets inferred, and the output of the copy is supposed to be before it gets inferred, right? So output expression equals, that all gets set in typer. So this should not be copied. I think. I mean, that may be far from our only problem. Let's see what happens if we try to run the debug build. Hey, so now, so it fixes that problem, which is good. We still get a double undeclared identifier. And that's due to a whole other situation that I'll explain, but that's good. So let me build the release build and make sure that we can actually build and run the game. Because this change that I just did is, you know, maybe what I just did is not always right. I think it is. Or maybe it is right, but somebody is relying on the wrong behavior in order to work. So you just want to make sure. All right, so what am I doing? I want to go back to here and just comment this out for a second so we have a valid program. Building, running. Yeah. Oh, look at all that animation stuff we did on the streams. Oh, yeah. It's almost like a real game engine. All right. So, because this will make it set to, it's sort of a standard idea that there's certain members that are only output at the end of the type inference phase. Anyone have any questions? I'm sure that was just me mumbling for half an hour. Anyone have any idea? Yeah, that bug has probably been in there for a really long time and probably has other, that would have had many subtle ramifications. Like that bug probably made compile speed slower, noticeably slower for certain functions. I mean, I don't know if you see the result in, whoops, did I not just commit? I mean, I doubt you see the result in the output number particularly, but, well, you know, 0.59, 0.60. I feel like it was at 0.62 yesterday, so maybe that even made its way into the output number. Okay. And by the way, if I were to go into the things that the compiler is doing right now that represent unnecessary work that could be optimized out, there would be a fair amount of stuff. And yet this compiler is still faster than most compilers. So What does that say about most compilers? I don't believe in unit tests, exactly. I mean, they're fine, they're okay. I believe in testing. I think unit tests is a weird idea about testing that has happened recently and that leads to bad ideas. What is the toughest bug I fixed in the compiler so far? I don't even remember. I think pretty much the hardest bugs, there have been a few times when I was just trying to make something work and it took like a full 8-hour session, or even 9 or 10 hours if you count breaks, of just hammering on something, right? I've definitely had those times. I don't remember what those bugs were about, but they were probably about polymorphism in some way, because that's the most complicated thing in the compiler. So that bug, for example, was related to polymorphism, because the polymorphism is the whole reason that we're copying things. So even without polymorphism, we would copy things in the instance of, the user modifying code and resubmitting it or something, but that actually even goes through a different path that wouldn't have triggered that bug, because it's not a copy, it's an export import that goes to a different set of data structures and comes back. Someone's saying it didn't happen recently, it happened in 1994. Oh yeah, TDD and unit testing. I don't know, I mean, I feel like I only really started hearing about TDD, let's say 4 years ago or 5 years ago. So like many things, it's probably been around a long time before it got trendy. So name guy's saying, dude, it's common sense that you should be writing twice as much test code as shipping code. I've heard of places in the San Francisco Bay Area where the ratio is 10-to-1, where they wrote 10 times as much test code as shipping code. And their output was not particularly robust software anyway. So, and they certainly were not fast at creating it. So, yeah, totally. I mean, I'm not down on testing. Testing is important, and having test cases for the things that you are able to test and automate the things that you're able to automate is good, for sure. It's just that, as with many things, if you take that to a zealous extreme, then you put some large amount of work into testing that doesn't actually pay off because it doesn't help you produce the software faster. And in fact, it slows you down in many cases. So, you want to get as much testing as you can, as efficiently as you can, right? Or forget that. You want to increase the robustness and reliability of your software as much as you can, as efficiently as you can, right? So that's the goal. And you just got to remember that and not assume too much about what is the right way to hit that goal, because it's very easy to make mistakes. Yeah, exactly. So someone said everything is poison above a certain threshold, and that's totally right. Like you can die from drinking too much water, but you need water to live. It's like that. And the TDD people, I think, are trying to get you to drink too much water, way too much water. So writing the usage code first is fine, and I do that sometimes. But there's a difference between write the usage code first and write tons of tests first, right? Those are different things. Like if you don't know the difference between one, the thing that invokes the code you're trying to write and a test suite for the code you're trying to write, like those are orders of magnitude different in terms of the amount of effort it takes to do them. So you really want to think about that if you're advocating test-driven design. Yeah. I'm just not going to answer self-hosting questions. Sorry, they come up so much. I should have a frequently asked questions on the page, but I don't. All right, so let me go into why is this guy coming up twice? Okay, so we are in report undeclared identifier, which we must be because that's the only place with this error message. From report undeclared identifiers, because it's in unresolved non-placeholders. From report circular dependencies. All right, and the second one has the same call graph. Okay, that's weird. So between the first one and the second one, let me get rid of my data breakpoint. I should just get rid of all this and recompile, because that's in a freaking header file, because I need it to be fast, and this is C++. So in order to have a fast data breakpoint, I need to sit through a 1-minute recompile of my code. Thank you. Yeah, that wasn't 1 minute, thankfully. All right. So I'm going to go to my other breakpoint. So now we're returning from here. We did undeclared. We have one error outputted. We're iterating over all the pipes and calling this again. Really, so if we had undeclared identifiers, we should stop. I mean, I guess. I did some funny stuff to that part of the code. Oops, I have to, oh, there we go. All right, so we're back to just one error message. That's pretty good. This items are stuck in queue patch thing is next, because that is not really relevant or true. It's interesting, as the system gets more sophisticated, the idea of how to report errors gets more difficult to approach. So, yeah. That may be, like, re-architecting error reporting might be an interesting set of streams, because it'll probably be several hours. the left mouse button on my Razer laptop that's only 6 months old stopped working. Oh, my Razer laptop that I already sent in once to the manufacturer to have the screen fixed. Now the left trackpad button does not click consistently. Thanks, Razer. Can I debug the executables produced by your compiler? Yeah, I mean, if you use the LLVM backend, which is a simple switch, then it engages LLVM's Visual Studio debugging support, which is all right. It's not quite perfect yet, but it's pretty good, and we are able to debug things. I actually used it on a stream maybe yesterday or the day before to figure out a crash. All right, so I want to see why it's saying stuck in queue, whatever. Because that, oh, it's saying that right there. Why? Visual Studio, I want to go to the definition. The definition, not the declaration. Well, it doesn't know where it is. Good thing we're paying hundreds of people to do all this Roslyn stuff that's super complicated, and you can't even jump me to the definition of this thing. Good thing there's a green underline under it. I don't even know what that means. Not found. Gee, it's so hard. Let me find it. It's only right there in main.cpp. Oh, that's the wrong one. It's only right there in pipes.cpp. This compiler, man, it just gets worse and worse. All right. All right. So really, I don't understand why I'm not just calling this. It's so weird. Like, why am I calling report circular dependencies? Maybe that's just historical. It doesn't seem. So the first thing I should do is do report undeclared identifier. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is just historical. I'm going to refactor it. Okay, so 618. Who was calling it again? From main 341. So, why do I have a double loop here? This is really weird. What? This must have happened when I was really tired. So we're looking for the first pipe stage that has items that are in it that have failed to process. If it's the infer pipe, but not all the source is done, then we just say, look, there's nothing to do. Otherwise, let's just make this explicit. So Yeah. And now over here, I see what. I think we don't want any of this. I think we look for undeclared identifiers. If we do have them, we break out of outer loop, iterating over all of the pipes. Otherwise, is this not an interp? No. I have a feeling that double loop was just something that I did that was just a total hack to solve an issue that I was trying to debug right at one moment, one day, and then it just stayed in there somehow. All right, so it at least still compile. That's no big surprise, really. So let's get this guy back. All right. Wait, what? Oh, I'm building the debug build and running the release build. Building the debug build. All right. It no longer says items are stuck in queue patch. Yay. That was some advanced computer science right there. All right, well, that was kind of all that I wanted to do, really. I'm of half a mind to take a little break and then do a gaming stream. How about that? Because that was the only thing that was bugging me. Yeah, so let's just say I'm going to take a break now, and maybe around 4 I'll do a gaming stream. Demo time, I'm just tired today. I don't want to work too hard today. I've been working hard a lot, and even like live streaming while programming is hard. It takes a lot of energy, and I live streamed the whole, like, for several days, that animation state machine system thing, and it was very productive, but I'm still tired after that. So yeah, I think a little bit of a break. I think I'm going to go add something to the demo that I thought of when I said, oh, I should demo that, except I don't remember what that was now. What was it? What was it? Oh, yes. I'll add that to the demo. Demo is going to be short. And then we'll see. We'll do some gaming. It'll be great. This is my place. We just rotated the desk for the gaming stream, so you're seeing a different wall than you usually see. I'll put in the title for the gaming stream now for people who are asking that question. Except my mouse button doesn't work. All right. See you guys later.